Right, today, now I haven't been on for a long time. Quite a few different reasons for this. We're extremely busy here at the moment. As you can see, even today the car park is full. Number two, we're in a tin roof here and it's been unbearable. I mean, the weather's been great. We've done a lot of stuff outside, but the weather's been unbearable. Now you might see here we've got coronavirus 10. Now unfortunately I couldn't show you the other, between the time of the last one and this one, they were just for Project X staff only, because as you know, things are getting serious. The Chinese people are completely innocent in this. Who we're after is the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party. Now, as you've seen around the world, okay, communism, you know, there might be a few little things in there that might be alright, but it's all the rest that goes with it. It's like religion. You know, the stories are great, but what people have to go through in order to practice their religion it's almost Nazi-like. So, you know, you will do this, otherwise this will happen attitude. You know, we can't have that in this world. This is 2020 now. It was great in the past. You know, communist, and that stopped people killing each other, and mind you, because of communism a lot of people have died. You know, if you're opposed to your party, even in China, you disappear. It's thousands of people disappeared. Because of communism, you know, millions of people have died. Millions of people have gone missing. So there's nothing good about joining a club or joining anything, unless it's a passive club, like a particular type of car or something, you know. But these things have got too big and too way out of hand. Anyway, back to where we came from. You know, they're for Project X staff only, the other videos, and so are limited into what we've limited to viewers only, and it involves what we're going to do about this. Now, I'm going to be a bit hesitant all the time here, because I'm thinking constantly what I can let you know and what I can't. I think we've established that they could have let us know a lot sooner than they did, and trying to cover something up like this is just, you know, just because, oh, I'm so proud, you know, we couldn't possibly let a virus out in our country, I'm so proud. You know, no, all that out the window. Tell us. That's the first thing that went wrong. So now they're, you know, they're all sitting there wondering what we're going to do, I expect. The world, that is, in general. Because everyone's, after, you know, we fought our own little battle with the virus, we're going to be wondering how it got here. So we're going to be looking at them. So there's quite a few documents being released about when they knew about this. They're all online. You can't, I've got a dry cough now, so, and you know, we're locked down, but there's still a lot of people here, and necessary people, you know. So basically, we've got to see what's going to happen about this, without damaging the Chinese people, the people under the oppression of the Communist Party. You've only got to look at Hong Kong and what's going on there. You know, they're trying to take over there. They've been bribing leaders of various islands near them, telling them to come to a hotel room for a meeting, offering them $1 million and saying, is it okay if we build a military base here? Of course, $1 million. You know, the chap's on 50p a day. So, you know, $1 million, yes please. And next thing you know, China's moved in and built a base. And yes, the island population are all now working at these bases. So yeah, they've got jobs. Their standard of living is going up, and it's great. That's brilliant. But why is there a base there? Okay, that's what you've got to look at. Why is there a base? Yeah, keep it there because it does well for the island population. But China, it just shows China is bribing its way around the world. Look at the contracts won in Africa. You know, do they actually make any money on these contracts, or are they just trying to move in? You know, everyone's got their own way of trying to spread their cult, should I say. You know, communism, they want that around the world, obviously. You know, that goes without saying. Islam, they want that all around the world. You know, there's so many different things. We sent the Christianity, I mean, we sent missionaries out all around the world, and still do, to, should I say, pass on the word. You know, whether it was right or wrong. You know, the Bible they're pushing now was actually configured by English kings to suit themselves. Did they add any other stories? You know, the Bible has nice stories, but it's still oppressing people. You will go to hell if the devil will get you. You know. Well, the devil certainly got us with this coronavirus. I don't know how many people... I've lost track of all the figures now. But UK, it's gone over what they thought, which was 30,000 deaths. It's gone over that. Now, China, Communist Party, you've killed 30,000 of our people. How the virus in China spread all around China in 30 days. How is that possible? They say that people were going on holiday and all this. But how did it do that? You know, is China wanting to get rid of some of its people? And they released it. Do they think there are too many people? Because they've tried the 2 children per household bit, which I think might be down to 1 now. Can't remember. But that just means that a family with 12 children has only registered 2. You know, so it's unbelievable. But anyway, Chinese people, keep producing the food. That's brilliant. Don't send us any rubbish. You know, I've been looking at these fantastic products on Facebook. Sometimes you get what's in the product, sometimes you don't, but I can't help clicking on those. But now, recently, I've thought, right, no more of this. You know, I've been stung a few times. I've clicked on them just to see how fast it gets here, where it comes from, which is on the postal label, and whether you actually get the goods. So Project X has funded the what I bought. Now I don't know whether any of you have seen that nice silver tank that the chap stands on and it still operates, still goes forward and backwards. Well, you don't get that. You get a plastic one that if you stood on it would smash into little bits. It hasn't even got moving tracks, the one you get. Now there's various loopholes in China where they can say to you, you know, what you get in the picture is just a representation rather than the actual product. So, you know, that's how they get round it. But some of the things have been great, and I've been going like this with my mouse and thinking, God, I know where I can use that sort of thing. But and there are all these funny companies where you can see they've just gone on the keyboard and gone da 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 da, and they've formed a series of letters. Sometimes they put a name in, sometimes they don't. But anyway, I've stopped buying. Trump is obviously dead upset about all the things going on. They think China thinks the South China Sea think they own it. So they've moved on to people's islands and people's lands and even built their own islands and built huge bases. You know, so, and now they want all airlines to get permission to fly over it. You know, this is oppression. So because of this coronavirus, which is one of the good things about it, it's brought up all these things that China are now doing. Well, we've just turned a blind eye to most of the stuff, like people disappearing and anyone who speaks up about the Communist Party gets either shut up, warned, or disappears. You know, that's not a way to carry on in 2020. You know, Chinese people, if you're listening to this, do something. I know it seems impossible, but if enough of you get together, you know, in America, it only needed a black person to be killed by a policeman for people to do something about it. That's for the wrong reasons, though. I mean, obviously they're all rioting because they want to loot. They didn't know this fella who died. If a white person's killed by a policeman, nobody bats an eyelid. You know, so anyway, that's another story, that is. Coronavirus 10. So what's happened is, 1 million people around the world have died. China's sitting there waiting for the backlash. That's where we've got to. You know, the backlash could be economic. But, I mean, they're building their military the whole time. You know, they've got, what is it, 2 million people in their army. I think it's bigger than the United States Army. I'm not sure. I think it's bigger than the United States Army. So, yeah, it's pretty much another threat in the future. You know, what will they start doing? Somebody said they were planning on invading Taiwan. We don't know anything about that yet, but when we do, we'll let you know. You know, Taiwan wants to be independent. China obviously wants the land. And what's going on in Tibet? You know, Tibet is another thing. What's China going to do about that? So, you know, this virus has brought the focus on China and what they're doing, basically. They're pretty much the only communist system left. Cuba's untightened itself, should I say. Russia's untightened itself and is now prospering like mad. But like I say, in my UFO videos, the system they use there is basically no money. No money, no countries and no religions. That's the only way the world will survive, basically. There are ways around, like for instance, if you want to be a person from your own area, on the dating system, which is worldwide, you can say, right, I'm genetically pretty much all British. I only want pretty much all British people to date, please, because I want to retain. But the country borders have actually gone. Anyone's allowed anywhere, which is not good for us in England, because basically everyone wants to move here for some reason. They don't even like France. They come to our the French border, to the English Channel, and form big camps just because they want to get over here. And they tried the lorry bit. Now they're coming over in rubber dinghies and being escorted by the French Navy. That's how desperate they are to get here. And then what they do, they get their money off our benefit system and send that back to their families, who live like lords on the amount of money we give them. We've worked out you can get up to £850 a week on your depending on your circumstances by crossing the channel. I don't know what's going to happen, but I mean it's increased since they came over, and they're bringing the virus with them as well. You know, And coronavirus, there's still people landing at Heathrow, coming through, you know. There's so many different things that, I mean, this business about nice weather, let's all go to the beach. My God, let's all spread it. I suppose that if you're 2 metres from everybody and stay 2 metres from everybody, that's virtually impossible. I mean, the last time I went shopping, there was people walking past me as normal. You know, that okay, they're queued up to get in, but I mean, that's another thing. Prices of things have started going up. And with this hot weather we've got, crops aren't getting rained on to grow, which is going to affect everything. Vegetables, bread, fruit, pretty much everything is going to be affected by this weather. You know, it rained today, for the first time for ages. You know, so, and this good weather, could it be anything to do with the amount of pollution in the air, or not in the air? Because it suddenly got to how the summers we used to have in the 60s. Used to be like this, blue sky, heat, absolutely clear sky. You know, you can see at night, you can see virtually every star and everything now. I even saw the Starlink satellites go over one day. And they're quite small, but the sun has to be on them before they reflect down here, so they have to be in a certain place. But yeah, this you know, if you were going to do, you know, if you were going to start a country from scratch, and you needed a deterrent or a military type system, I would say to other countries, I've made this virus, we have deployed it in dispensers in all your cities and all the cities around the world. If anybody does anything to threaten us, we will let them off in your country. That's all you need. You don't need an army, you don't need an air force, you don't need a navy. Think of the money to be saved. So this virus, you know, what's coronavirus 20 going to look like? Or 21? Or 22? You know, how I would do it, I would have an amoeba type cell genetically engineered to eat lung tissue. Which then can be dried and can be dispensed in the air, and like a real amoeba, when you add water again, comes back to life. As soon as it goes down your throat, that's when it comes back to life and starts acting. Now, can you imagine that? You'd eventually die of suffocation. Could take a while, I expect, depending on how many you breathed in. Even if you breathe in one, you've only got to release that over a city, and that's it. You know, now, I'm saying that, but how do you know that hasn't been produced? It won't be affected by antibiotics and stuff, and vaccines. It's impossible to sell, you know. So anyway, that's how far we've got. You know, I can't say what the others have said yet, because I haven't been passed to. I haven't had any documents to say we don't do paper generally, but I haven't had anything to say what other people's responses are so far. But it's being worked on anyway. But, you know, if China are carrying on as normal, we now pretty much are sure that it was nothing to do with animals in a market. That's pretty sure. It might have been released there from the lab up the road, either on purpose or by accident. But whichever way it was, down the line, when these started appearing, we should have been told. Now, 1.4, the Communist Party, or whoever it was, they did release the DNA for the virus. So, and according to somebody on Breakfast Time TV, who's working on it, they got the DNA pretty early, and they had a vaccine within 4 or 5 hours. But that was on a computer simulation on paper. It's producing it was going to be the problem. So, yeah, so there's that. But there's various, like I said, there's various documents about to say that the Chinese knew about this very early on. You know, December, sometime like that. We wasted all of February basically humming and ahhing. You know, this hopefully will give us, the government will develop a system whereby they will instantly know what to do as soon as this comes in, and do lockdowns and things immediately, and then decide how to release them, you know. And also lockdowns, you know, they destroy, they shouldn't destroy businesses, because if you think about it, a person renting a shop is not now selling anything, so can't produce his rent, the council tax, all the other things. Now, the people taking the council tax, they should say, we can see you're not earning anything, we don't want anything, instantly. And then not come back online until that person's up and running again. Same with the rent people. Generally, renting for shops they're owned by big investment companies who wouldn't bat an eyelid to losing a couple of million here, a couple of million there. You know, and they might have people who have invested in them, who are living at home and want their commission to live on, but they'll be in the same boat as everybody else. So they should stop asking for their commission, or the company should say to them, sorry. So all the way down the line, everything stops. Nobody owes anything. Credit card companies, stop taking the payments. Some have. Some are giving you payment holidays. But that won't last forever. But all this pyramid of finance, layers of Bank of England, all this, central bank, all comes down to just a few people who might lose billions, but will just go, got billions more. You know, that's the trouble with the money system. That all wouldn't be there if we had the Centre of Excellence system. So, Centre of Excellence system is just being rewarded if you do something. You don't have to do anything. Because a human born on this planet is entitled to food and a roof over their head. That should have been like that forever. But today, they get free transport and free anything online, music, video games, anything you can get on a handheld, you can have free. If you want anything over that, like a holiday or something, then you have to do something. And as you do it, that comes on your screen, suddenly goes, yes, you can now go on holiday. See what I mean? There's no middlemen, no money. The people who are on holiday, who run the holiday centres, they all get to go to their centres of excellence once they've entertained you, etc., etc. No money, no problems, everything is top notch. There's no value engineering. Oh, I'll buy a cheap one until I can afford the expensive one. None of that. Everything goes straight to expensive. Think of the money that will be saved by stuff not being thrown away. Now, we were, with this virus, we were very close to this already. You know, the government was giving out money, almost like a universal credit thing, whereby everyone gets so much money regardless of what they do, and then the job they do after that is money on top. But, you know, cut out the money. Money is only there so that you've got a unit to store to keep the rich rich. They're storing the units. We're earning them and spending them immediately, sometimes over the top with credit. You know, so it's all coming up this end and building up. And the last people, 3 or 4 people at this end, have got all the units stored. Be it $1, a pound, whatever. That's why we've got money at this point. Before, it was just to stop us going to the supermarket and grabbing armfuls of chocolate. You know, you could only afford one. So yeah, I mean, food-wise, obviously you wouldn't go to the supermarket. You just order takeaways. So the whole place would be millions and millions of different types of food as a delivery. Except if you wanted to cook, then you say to the kitchen people, I want a kitchen. They turn up and build you a kitchen, but only after you've been for the centre of excellence for cookery, which will be millions of different ones because of all the different foods, and learnt how to use your kitchen properly. Because as we know, the kitchen is the biggest place in the home for accidents. So that's that. But coronavirus, I mean, it's we suddenly realise we've got no money. Universal credits still coming in to those who have applied for it, which is millions more. And I think the government must be having to print money, basically. Now, if the money system wasn't there, they'd just say, have it. So, you know, we were nearly there. The climate problem, you know, the virus has caused people not to go out much because of lockdown. And there's great differences all around the world. Fantastic differences of things. People can see mountains they didn't even know they were there. You know, it's unbelievable. I just wonder whether Bombay still stinks. Yeah, but basically, yeah, I went to Bombay once and sitting next to an Indian fella, and I said, God, what's that smell? And he said, that's Bombay. And we didn't land for another hour. We could smell it an hour away. And then 10 minutes off the airplane, you get used to it. But yeah, there was that smell. It was a mixture of rotting veg and car fumes, unburnt petrol fumes. So yeah, but I don't know how they're getting on down there. I don't know. I used to work in Corfu, holiday business. Now, you know, how are they getting on? Corfu is only holiday. They might produce olives there, but I think they're mainly used by the locals. But how are they getting on with the holiday business? I mean, the Greek government almost let them get on with it when I was there. Are they getting any help? I don't know. But yeah, so I think what are we at? Yeah, got to go. Otherwise it goes to another video. Right, thanks a lot, and I'll try and do another one for the public a lot quicker than this.